You know, when you're born and raised in somewhere like South London, it's very easy for you to think that, you know, it's not the greatest. But I'll be honest, I think it's alright. It's not that bad. We can hate and complain about it as much as we want, but really and truly, it ain't that bad. It could be a lot worse. When I spent some time living in Dubai, I met a lot of people, and a lot of the younger people that I met, I kind of noticed that, not all of them, but they were kind of sheltered. They hadn't really experienced what, like, living in a unpleasant place is. And I'm not saying South London or London in general is unpleasant. It's one of the greatest cities in the world. But, you know, there's stories of this person got stabbed, this person got robbed, this person's phone got snatched or whatever, this person been beat up. Like, you know, I actually live in a pretty decent area, but like, you know, 10 minutes down the road and all of a sudden you're back in like the trenches. And yeah, just living in a place like this, like we can complain about it because there are always stories. There's gangs. There's, you know, this guy who went to my school did this, and that guy who knows this guy did that to that person. And it's just like, it can put you quite on edge. Like if you're walking around at night, I'm going to be vigilant, you know. I'm not really walking around with headphones like that much. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to be aware of your surroundings. There's stories of people getting shanked, yeah, getting stabbed for mistaken, what do you call it? Mistaken identity. Like people just getting killed over jackets and for phones and getting your watch stolen. And yeah, people just, you know, sometimes when people are really broke and they're struggling like with poverty, they will do anything. They don't care about their own lives, let alone yours. So these things will put you on edge. But when you are from somewhere like, let's just say you've grown up in Dubai, like you might think, yeah, I wanna make money and get rich and move out the ends and go to somewhere like that and raise my kids there. Then you gotta think about it, like that means your kids are gonna be raised somewhere like that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Generally, I'm trying to work this out myself. But do you want that? Because when I went to Dubai and I had the upbringing of being in London, being exposed to so many different cultures, it kind of is. I think it's great character building. Honestly, I don't know any other place in the world where, you know, it's so multicultural. Like honestly, this London city is so multicultural, and not only just London but the UK in general. And when you go somewhere where people aren't exposed to different cultures and whatnot, it can be quite, you know, you realize it does actually have an impact and an effect on how you are. Because when you don't know how, like, for example, Asians, yeah, they operate very differently to a lot of white people. And then there's different types of white people and there's different types of black people. Like, there's so many different types of people within their own, what do you call it, race? Like, there's just so many different types. Like, for example, an Asian person from London can be very, very different to an Asian person in Birmingham, yeah, or Bradford even. And then you get like posh white people. Like, anyways, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you get exposed to different types of people. When I went to Pakistan, my cousin, I remember talking to him, he said he'd never seen a black person before, and it was insane. And when you don't have exposure to these kind of things, it really does shape how you are as a person. So I think that, you know, being raised in somewhere like South London, when you do have a bit of that, and I say South London, this can be any place in the world which isn't, you know, the nicest. That it's got, you have access to nice things, but then also around the corner, it's also just like ghetto and hood. I remember going to, where was it? West London, I think it was, or I can't remember. I think it was North London actually, East London, East London. In East London, when you go to places like Newham, it's like basically it's a ghetto. It's honestly just a ghetto. But then from the ghetto, from the council estates and the rough area, you can literally see Canary Wharf, which is one of the nicest parts in the world, really. But in London, one of the nicest parts. All the bankers are there, massive buildings, really nice scenery. But yeah, and it's like a 5-10 minute walk from Newham. So it's like you get to see the rough areas, and it's a bit like, you know, some people say someone like Central C, for example, is your Kappa or not, like, because he doesn't always. Some people don't think his raps are fully authentic or whatnot. But anyways, it's like he's from West London. So West London, you've got really nice areas, and then around the corner is like ghetto areas again. So I don't know. Honestly, I think it's quite good character building. I think that being from somewhere like here, would you want to raise your kid somewhere else in a nice place, in a suburban place? Because if you do, which I do understand completely, you want to go somewhere else where, you know, they don't have to deal with what you had to deal with. But then your kid might grow up to be a bit of a puss. Like, do you want that? And how do you even combat that? Like, let's just say, you know, I liked Dubai when I was living there for a year. I know some people that either like it. No, with Dubai, you either love it or you hate it, really and truly. There's not really like an in between. But I actually, you know, my experience there was genuinely quite nice. Not necessarily because I'm hella materialistic, because I'm not. Just the culture, just the quality of living there is very, very nice, very safe place. And like, I wouldn't mind living there. But if I'm living there, that means my youths might have to be raised in Dubai. And like, bro, I've heard of the Dubai accent, and that's just like, yeah, it's a bit cringy, isn't it? Like, am I really wanting to raise my kids there and they're not going to be from like Croydon, for example. I'm from Croydon, South London. Like, what? My kids won't even be from there. Like, I can't even imagine it. Like, my children not having the same upbringing as me. But then again, my dad, for example, my dad's born and raised in Pakistan. And we're very, very similar, but very, very different at the same time. Very different. We've got completely different upbringings and cultures. So, I don't know. I think it's just some food for thought. Would you want your kids to be raised in somewhere like the ends, South London? Or, I mean, how do you suffice? How do you have your kids in another area? Or how do you have your kids grow up in another area and keep them patterned? I don't know. I feel like as long as you got good parenting and you understand, like, you got to show your kids the way of living. Like, just because you're living in a nice area, you have to teach them. You've got to teach them discipline. You've got to teach them loads of things. Then I think it'll be alright. But I don't know. What do you guys think?